Hi, I'm Jean Allman and welcome to The Buzz. We are delighted today that Mark Faithful from Edgecombe Community College is going to share some exciting news with us. Our program today is proudly brought to you by Roger G. Taylor & Associates. Let's take a look at some of the wonderful things that have been happening in our community lately.
I'd like to first thank all of you for coming out to attend this grand reopening of our Salvation Army new facility. I'm the membership director with the Rocky Mount Chamber of Commerce. I'm standing in for our chamber president, who is under the weather, Teresa Pinto, as well as our chairman, Reuben Blackwell, who is at a pre-scheduled event. But what I'd like to say is to thank the Salvation Army for all of the good work that they do. And they've been doing it for quite a long time, I think since 1865.
1921 here.
Okay. So that's a rich history of helping administer to our physical and spiritual needs. And I'd like to thank them for all the good that they do.
Well, thank you all. I guess first and foremost, normally you save the best for last for who you want to give credit to. But I give credit to our Heavenly Father for why we're standing here today. Believe it or not, you are standing on holy ground because the work of the Lord is being done here in this place. And we're very fortunate that we have the support of this community to make these things happen and to do these things for you, for the community, and for those who are the less fortunate. I have so many people I need to thank. I could be here forever, but I'll mention just a few. Steve Powell, who's the property committee chair on our advisory board. He has helped me, a very young man who knows nothing about property or construction, understand a lot from someone who has wisdom and experience. And so I couldn't have done this without Steve and his help and his inspiration. I couldn't have done it without Brenda Crocker, our former past board chair. She, for the last 2 years, has been working with me and staying on top of me and making sure the right paperwork is done, all the approvals are given, and that's been absolutely wonderful. What you'll see in this store and what you see on the facade all has been really put together by Major Paul Cranford. Major Cranford is a retired Salvation Army officer who now does this for all of North and South Carolina. He's a genius when it comes to figuring out the specifics of how a store should look, of what way the hanger should face, of where the sign should be. So I give a lot of credit to Major Cranford and thank him for coming here several times. So let's just give him a hand. He had the bigger vision. I added a few things, and we came together and made it happen. But the Lord gave us that vision to make it happen in the first place. I have a couple plaques that I just need to mention that we're going to put up in the store. The first one, I need to thank our former landlords and tenants, the Wooten family. Larry Wooten, Jr., when we originally came into this store, he put up a lot of his own money to renovate the previous store to the satisfaction of the Salvation Army. Were it not for his support and his help, he gave us 6 months free rent to start. He sacrificially came alongside us at the very beginning when we moved to this property. And so I need to thank him and honor him. And he wants to thank and honor Judy Boyd, who was his inspiration to support the Salvation Army and come alongside us in our ministry and in our vision to help the less fortunate. So there's going to be a plaque, and you can read that story once I get some command strips and put it up. There's still a few little things we need to do. And then there's going to also be a plaque in which I need to thank Barnhill Contracting Company. The parking lot that you're standing in was donated by the Barnhill Contracting Company. They did all of that at their own expense, so let's give them a hand. They've done a fabulous job.
Welcome back. We are delighted to have Mark Faithful, the Dean of Corporate and Community Development for Edgecombe Community College, and we're going to learn about some really wonderful things that have been happening and are getting ready to happen at Edgecombe Community College. So Mark, thank you for being here.
I appreciate the invitation. Looking forward to speaking with you today.
Well, we often in this area, and we brag very happily that we have fantastic community colleges, both Nash and Edgecombe, do a lot of things that are happening behind the scenes that have contributed tremendously to getting people back in the workforce, to helping our local industries retool when they have new projects come along. And you're going to talk about what Edgecombe's doing right along that
Be
line,
glad
right?
to. You know, we're one of 58 community colleges, and right now we think we're one of the best.
Well, and I'm glad you feel that way. So we do too. Let's start with high school students and a relatively new initiative that you all have with Cummings and with Edgecombe Community College. Edgecombe Public School.
Be glad to talk about that. It's a career cluster, which is a group of classes that you can start taking while you're in high school that will also help lead to a 2-year degree while you're at Edgecombe. And we've got one with our advanced manufacturing program that will be starting up this fall. So we're excited about that. Students need to see their CTE coordinator at their high school to find out more information as to how to get enrolled in those courses.
What's CTE?
Career and technical education.
Okay.
And
Does one have to qualify to get into that? I mean, that sounds like it's a pretty complicated career.
they just have to show some interest. There are a few guidelines, but for the most part, they just need to meet with their counselor and CTE coordinator to work those classes into their normal schedule.
And to then have 2 more years and be able to get a job at a fantastic employer like Cummings, I mean, gosh, that's just a great opportunity.
It is a great opportunity. It really, when you start in the 9th grade, it gives you an opportunity to see if this is something you're really interested in. You know, we'll be offering some classes that I think are unique, some that are eye-catching, such as robotics, some computer-aided design classes and things like that. They really are some hands-on things that get them excited about what they're doing. And once they start taking those classes, hopefully by the time they graduate from one of the local high schools, they will enroll at Edgecombe and complete that 2-year degree either in manufacturing or in electronics. And not only is Cummings, we certainly have an agreement with them, but there are other companies in the area that would also benefit from these students as well.
And when the students take that, Mark, are they doing it on their high school campus, or do they then commute to one of the branches of Edgecombe Community College?
Most of the time, they will probably have to take a majority of those classes at the campus of Edgecombe Community College.
Because of the equipment and that type of thing.
Right. Some of those things that they're doing, for example, we have classes in which they have a 3D printer, and those are things that you're not going to normally find at your high schools. But, you know, it's great to be able to go in and design something, whether it's an airplane or some piece of equipment that you can start from a computer drawing and then see that printed in a 3D printer. And I think that's very, very catchy for some of our students.
I think it's really catchy. Did you see in the News Observer recently they built a house using a 3D printer?
I did not see that one, but I have seen that these things are so realistic that they can actually do a gun and they can actually fire. So
in body parts, I mean, in healthcare, they're really getting into finding this is the wave of the future. So, I mean, wow, what a great opportunity.
It's great to come over, and, you know, we've got something coming up that we're going to show some of these things off at an open house, and maybe we'll get to talk about later, that we're going to let these students be able to see some of these projects that they designed from the ground floor and to see it actually in their hand. I think it'll be great.
Well, and to avail this opportunity, then starting what, junior and senior year, and then going into 2 years afterwards?
They can actually start taking, depending upon how their classes are set up, possibly as the 9th grade. They have just approved an initiative that will allow them to start that early.
Is the majority of what you do adult education and continuing education?
Yes, it is, but what we've been speaking about is more on the curriculum side. But we work hand in hand a lot. I work with Mr. Guerin, who is in charge of those advanced manufacturing program. So we do a lot of stuff together.
When you're reaching out with the community, with a lot of the businesses and industries, with your continuing ed and corporate assistance, so you know and can find little niches such as that. Well, that's a big niche, in my opinion, to get those high school students, give them a career path.
I think that's great. I hope that down the road we'll be able to develop more of these pathways and career clusters so that there will be more opportunities for students here in the area.
Well, let's talk about, you brought a wonderful list of pre-hire classes. Let's kind of go through these and share them with everybody watching.
Yeah, I think these are two great programs that we have. One is with Bridgestone, which is not actually located in our county, but we are one of 3 community colleges that have this pre-hire program with Bridgestone. It's an introduction to tire manufacturing. It's about a 33-hour class that we offer. We've got one coming up April the 8th and one May 20th. They're usually held on our Rocky Mount campus, sometimes during the day, sometimes during the evening. But it's an opportunity for them to come in and get some firsthand knowledge as to what the tire industry is about. The way this works is you really cannot even apply for a job there unless you go through this pre-hire class. So it's like the introduction as to how to get in. It is a fee to take this class. The tuition is $125 and the book cost is $43. The good thing is if you go through the process, after you complete the class, you need to pass it, but then you have a basic skills test that you take with Bridgestone. If you pass that, you get to follow up and hopefully get hired. If you're hired, they will reimburse you for your tuition and books. And it's a great opportunity. You know, the average salary for someone working at Bridgestone, when you take their salary and benefits, amounts to about $38 an hour when you're counting their benefits. So that's a great opportunity for a lot of our people.
And are they generally hiring? I mean, they have a lot of openings.
They do have a lot of openings. But there is a lot of competition.
Yeah. At that rate, I'm sure.
Yeah, and you've got us, you've got Nash, you've got Wilson, who also have this same introductory class to tire manufacturing. So, you know, I think we have over 200 just that we go through in a year, and they probably have about the same. So that's a lot of people that are trying to get these jobs.
Also, the KHEN, you work with Express Employment Professionals. What tell us about that, Mark?
Yes, that one is handled a little bit different. It's not. It doesn't cost anyone anything because it is through a customized training program that we have through the state with KHEN. However, you do have to go through this specific employment outfit to fill out an application to take the class. So it's another about a 30-hour class that's held in Tarboro, and basically through the temp agency and through the class, it's more of a screening for these students. But once you pass and you fill out the application, you take the class, you do get an opportunity to at least get an interview. So it opens some doors for you and those kind of things. But the one with KHEN is free based on the fact that it comes to our customized training program.
Does the person have to have a GED prior to taking those classes for Bridgestone and this one?
I think Bridgestone just changed that information. We had a meeting about 2 weeks ago, and I can't remember how that was resolved. So
call Edgecombe Community College and ask.
Absolutely, really to call Laura Otremsky, and she can give you all the information about the tire class. George Anderson is our contact for KHEN and their pre-hire program.
Well, and we're going to take a break and then come back and talk about more. But I mean, for people who are unemployed or underemployed, these are great ways to get their foot back into a higher level job or higher paying job.
It is a great opportunity, and people need to take advantage of it.
Absolutely. We'll be right back. We're back, and before we start talking to Mark Faithful, I want to thank Roger G. Taylor & Associates. This program is sponsored by Roger, so when you see him around town, tell him thank you. He is our chair-elect for the Chamber of Commerce, so a guy who really believes in helping out the community. Mark, we were talking about Bridgestone, and that I believe it's April 8th and May 20th. There were classes being offered as entry level for that. There are a couple other open houses around that time. Tell us about those.
Yes, we do. The week of April the 7th is Manufacturing Awareness Week. And as part of that, We're opening up our classes 2 nights that week and would like to invite anyone out, whether they're high school students, anybody just trying to get back, finding a new career, to come out and see what we have to offer.
Which campus, Mark?
This will be on our Tarboro campus,
Okay.
in the Havens building, on Monday, April the 7th, from 5:30 to 8 o'clock. We are going to be featuring that particular night computer-aided design classes that are using SolidWorks, and we will be going and you will be seeing our students start designing a product from a sketch, and then we're going to see them actually bring it to fruition and have a 3D printer on site.
Wow.
And we are actually going to produce one of the products that they have. So it will allow those students to come in and see the product from the time it starts to where it ends. Don't know what they will be producing, but there will be some piece that will be done with our 3D printer.
Uh-huh. Now, you've got something on the 7th. What's on the 9th?
On
Or is
the-
that the same?
It's the same
Same
week.
thing?
We're going to be featuring something else on Wednesday, April the 9th, same time, 5:30 to 8 o'clock. And 2 things there. We have some PLCs that control our robotics and things like that. So we're going to be doing some things with some robots to see how they're programmed. And we'll be doing some things with some hydraulics and pneumatic controls as well that night. So it will give them an opportunity to come in and see hands-on as to what our students are doing and how these things play into what we would call the new manufacturing today.
Well, in manufacturing, we need more manufacturing, and that's a lot of the better jobs are in manufacturing. And to come and you all open the doors. Not only do you teach them, but then if they do their part, then they get an interview. So great job opportunities. And in Edgecombe County has one of the lowest unemployments in the state. rates
You are right.
North
That's
Carolina.
something that we're not proud of, and we're certainly trying to rectify that. And
Right.
hopefully this is a good way to get into that. Advanced manufacturing it's not the manufacturing of 35 years ago. You go into a lot of these plants, they are just so clean, and it's unbelievable.
And you mentioned $38 an hour with benefits.
That's
in fire
correct.
saving. Folks,
That's correct.
that's just awesome. So hope we don't lose our cameraman today. Okay, the Small Business Center, you want to talk about that a little bit?
Well, the Small Business Center, Ed Ormsby is our director of our Small Business Center. And he has certain things that he is required to do. And I think the thing that's good right now is everything in the Small Business Center is free. And one of the things I certainly wanted to focus on is some leadership opportunities that he provides free to anyone in our county. I will tell you this, that Caheen takes full advantage of that. They send a lot of their employers over, and they're taking those classes to upgrade their leadership skills that will allow them to move up within the organization. So, but our Small Business Center does a great job of just educating people on some leadership skills, as well as if you want to get in and start a small business as well.
Yeah, he will just partner right with you and help you know exactly what you need to do.
Yeah, a lot of we work hand in hand with all the companies, big, small, whatever, and Ed has a specialty there that he's responsible for.
And he has a personal background in business too, which I think adds a lot of credibility. And
He does.
He's
He
been
does.
right out there himself. Let's talk about the Back to Work grant, Mark.
Yeah, Back to Work grant is a grant that was administered through the state. We have a set number of dollars that we could spend for tuition, fees, and books, and it will allow us to send someone back to school free of charge if you qualify. It is set up for individuals who are either unemployed or underemployed.
Age ranges?
There is no age. There
Good.
is no age. And there are special provisions for veterans. So if you're a veteran, there are other things. We only have certain programs that we can work with, but if you're a veteran, we can offer most anything to you free of charge if it qualifies through that program.
And I'm so glad to hear that. I mean, we really do need to help our veterans who've given their all for us to
Absolutely.
get back in the workforce.
Absolutely. We do not have a lot in our current program. I think we probably only have 2. We probably, in the program currently, probably have about 60 to 65 students who are enrolled in this program. And we have about 5 different disciplines that we're working with. And the key to this, when you're getting approved for the Back to Work grant, these programs have to lead to a third-party credential, which means a certification that you will have in hand when you complete a certain class that will allow you to go out and get a job.
So not an associate degree, but a specific trade certification?
That is correct.
Okay.
But it can't be like you would just earn a certificate from Edgecombe. You would have to be eligible to sit for a national certification. And one of the programs that we probably have our biggest enrollment in right now is welding. I think we have 3 classes going on currently, trying to start another one, but that one would lead to a certification, an AWS certification, which, you know, we have the funds not only to pay for the tuition and fees, but it also can pay for that certification cost as well. We also have a class in computer repair that leads to a third-party credential, and we're also doing something in automotive field. We're doing brakes right now is what our focus is. And then we have a certified production technician, which is basically an introductory class to what you would see in any plant. It covers safety and quality and some of those things that they were allowed to take that as well. So it's a good thing that we have, and I would encourage anybody who is trying to, who's underemployed or unemployed, to please give us a call. The contact is Sheila Shaw there at the college, and she is doing a great job getting people into this program, because I think at last meeting we were ranked pretty high in the state with number of participants, and we're very, very proud of that.
What about the time frame when they're being taught? Or some of them like after hours, such that if somebody is underemployed, they could go after work?
Actually, they are. We have the welding classes. We have a day, an evening, and we're right now trying to get a Saturday class going.
Good.
Our computer class is a Friday. It's one day a week seated, and part of that is online. The breaks is in the afternoon. The certified production technician training is in the evening, but a lot of that is online as well. So most of it is evening time.
Well, and what I've learned a lot about from you today is y'all do everything possible to accommodate people.
We're making every effort to meet the needs of the community.
And if people have heard anything today, call Edgecombe Community College that it interests you at all, or even, and I think one of the things that we're working with is people who've been unemployed for a while.
Right.
It's not easy to get back in the workforce, but I don't think you'd find a more sympathetic, supportive, wonderfully encouraging environment than one can get at Edgecombe Community College.
Well, I think at any institution, the people make your situation, and we have some great people, and they know what they're there for. They're there to help people.
We've got about 30 seconds. Is there another one you wanted? The Basic Skills Plus?
Yeah,
or
look,
occupational
if I could get more than 30 seconds, but
Okay.
Basic Skills Plus was developed a few years ago in the system that allows for a pathway to be developed for students who are trying to earn their GED. And what that pathway will do, it gives them a roadmap as to where they start and to where they'll finish. And as we go through those, you start with your GED, and then you start gradually getting into your curriculum classes. You try to earn a certification, such as a third-party certification. Then it would lead to a 2-year degree down the road. Right now, the only one that we currently have is Nursing Assistant 1 that is approved by the state. We have just put in for 3 additional programs. I think one of those is Automotive Systems Technology, in which we'll be doing some automotive certifications. The EMT, we're trying to get approved for that, and the Certified Production Technician. But this is just for those people who are earning their GED, and this basically is a pathway to show you this is where I'm going to start, and this is where I'm going to finish, and this length of time. So it's a great program. Jerry Harper runs that through our Basic Skills.
Mark, thank you. This is exciting.
I've enjoyed speaking with you, and be glad to come back and speak again sometime.
Well, great. Well, thank you, and thank you for joining us. We'll see you next week.